Surprisingly, I did catch Adobe to this next one. One little theater wasn't playing Guy Ritchie's The Covenant in theater number 17. They actually had it out in a Dolby Mix theater right after they were showing all the Super Mario in the beginning, so I went at night. You got one too?
Same for me. Like, they had Super Mario throughout the day, and then I had to wait till 10:30 at night for the one Dolby showing.
Hey, I'm glad they at least had it, because this is a movie where I would pitch it as a military Western, dude. It is gruesome. It is a full-out war film. But what really resonated with me was Jake Gyllenhaal and Dar Salim's performances. First, we got to talk about the title. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Gotta love it. Shout out Guy Ritchie for that one. I don't know how many more Covenants there were before this one, but he was still able to get away with it in the poster. But
yeah, is Guy Ritchie really at, like, Guy Ritchie's level? Like,
you know what I would have liked? Guy Ritchie's Aladdin, but what I would have really loved was Guy Ritchie's Snatch. That one just has a ring to it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Edgar Wright or Martin Scorsese are out here putting their names in the title, you know?
She's going for the Lee Butler there, but Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is based off of a true story. It is a dude who was like a high-ranking chief overseas,
U.S. Army
early
Sergeant,
2000s. Yeah, 2010s, and he specifically gets a new interpreter to join them after an incident that had happened. And the trailer, I'm not going to lie, kind of spoils everything, but it is a true story. Another incident happens, which causes him to kind of be left by the wayside, and this interpreter, played by Dar Salim, needs to help him out. I don't want to spoil what happens at the aftermath, because that really is the first big hour and change chunk of the movie. It's just them getting to know each other, this interpreter kind of giving him advice on different things to do, where Jake Gyllenhaal feels like the character that he's playing feels like he knows what to do here. They search for IEDs, but he doesn't really know the environment. And this interpreter, as he says in the trailer, isn't really there to translate. He is there to interpret and thus be able to help him to do his job more properly. How'd you feel about it?
Well, in some ways it's kind of like an uncomplicated war movie, right? Like, especially in the modern era, as war has become a very, like, it's not like two sides meeting on the battlefield, right? There's all sorts of espionage and intrigue and nuances, and our war films have started to reflect that more, but there are movies that are sort of treated a little more simply. And I feel like The Covenant just reduces it to some simple terms, right? The U.S. Army are the good guys. The bad guys are the people whose faces are covered and you can't even see, like, their humanity. But there's still just, like, this really effective, inspirational story at the heart of this, of these two guys in Jake Gyllenhaal's character and Dar Salim's character who become intertwined, right? Who become fated to help one another through the obstacles in their lives, right? They owe each other a kind of blood debt.
Like a debt. Yeah.
And, particularly to see an actor like Jake Gyllenhaal, who I think is a fantastic actor. He's so great to see all the different roles he has. But this is interesting in that, like, while he's often got this very electric, kinetic energy to him, he's so much more steely, so much more reserved in this role, playing the kind of tough guy army sergeant. It's a bit of a different look from him. Like, I'm not going to put this necessarily in the Jake Gyllenhaal acting Hall of Fame, but it's a very good performance. Though the one that really took me by surprise was Dar Salim, an actor I was not familiar with in this film, and really carries the entire middle section of this movie.
Literally carries the middle section of this movie. I agree with you when it comes to Jake. There was several moments where Jake Gyllenhaal just stares out into the distance. I ended up counting like 5 by the end of the movie, where an incident happens and he kind of it's in slow-mo, so he's not like dropping the ball in the middle of action, but it's just this broodingness that comes out of his character. Dar Salim just had it in him, dude. I thought he killed it in the movie. He does a fantastic job just getting fully into the character. As you were saying, Guy Ritchie is a dude who, as the chat was saying, dude's been busy this year. We had just covered, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
The other one that he had made in Operation Fortune. I feel like he has another one in the horizon as well. Like, he keeps working. I like the
Hercules.
perspective that he takes. It definitely feels like propaganda to a degree. You
Right.
can't deny that, especially in
It's
certain
gotta be
sequences
that
where they get rescued.
Top Gun Maverick, like
Yeah.
we are the good guys, don't ask questions thing.
But at the same time, I do feel that this is a movie that's trying to put them in check to a degree, like as much as a movie can, in terms of what the film is talking about these interpreters who
Yeah.
pretty much just get assigned and are promised a lot of things for their service, because they practically become traitors. They live there, meaning that they have to turn on everybody in order to be able to help who technically is, the invaders in that country. So this is a story out of all of the hundreds of interpreters out there where a dude actually decided to repay that bet. There's this
Right.
there's a line in the movie where he talks about it being like a hook, and that's where I was really resonating with that Western style of it, of
Yeah.
of a dude coming back as this lone wolf to be able to help somebody. He's like, there's going to be this hook in me that's never going to let me go. It's invisible, but I keep feeling it every day.
Yeah.
And that's the part
They
that I
give-
think really resonates.
They give Gyllenhaal a couple speeches like that where he's really able to kind of sell the emotionality of the movie, despite sort of being in that more reserved role. But yeah, I mean,
That's good.
even though it is a little bit simple in its characterization of the conflicts and of the people within them, it's still very effective and very just like, I don't know, rousing. I'd even say.
It was
I
some
don't
thrilling
know,
moments towards the end.
Yeah, very tense, and the action's well done. We talked about Guy Ritchie, but he's a guy who knows his way around an action set piece, and I even felt like he didn't go over the top with it like Zack Snyder but he even used that kind of speed ramp thing that he likes to
Yes.
do effectively in a couple spots here too.
Some nice overhead ones. It was cool.
Yeah. If I may just make like a really pretentious point, did it at all bother you the like sort of contrast between how sort of like motivational and uplifting this film is and sort of like the sad reality that it's trying to shine a light on? It's like there a lot of times when films based on true stories do this, they kind of leave you with like a bitter taste in your mouth through the epilogue,
Yes. Look, I'll put it this way. I think the specific director we have here and the fact that Jake Gyllenhaal was in Jarhead
Yeah,
makes
better
me
war movie.
think, yes, that while this one definitely feels way more the troops will come save you, that it's still willing to it's kind of like trying to work within the space of not fully insulting it, but I
Yeah.
do think it puts it on check to a certain degree. The one spoiler
Totally.
that it's not too much of a spoiler, but in the beginning there's this essence of them working under the radar. Like, he needs to find these bombs, so he kind of asks for help, and he's like, well, if it's not working this way, maybe try another way, but I never told you that. So there's a lot of this, everyone's working without really checking each other, that
Right.
while they're getting things done, I feel the movie is almost calling it out, because when you're
True.
working that way, sure, he's doing it for a reason, but eventually someone's going to be able to take advantage of that system of not being put in check. And what better way to showcase it than to just showcase it? So
Right.
I do think that's kind of insulting it to a degree. For me also, Anthony Starr appears in this movie in a role where he is very much the American hero. And considering that he too, my man, he has done a performance where I think he should have won an Emmy, where he is calling out America way more than any anti-military movie can. Because he convinced people in that other role to do what? To believe that he was on their side. And then the last season happened, they didn't know what to think. So it could just be me taking, Jarhead, taking the role he has been, and thinking that they're being a little bit more subtle with it. But I can see people feeling a certain way depending on how they want to view the scenario. Because, yeah, you also have a dude where it's like Dar Salim's character. He worked for the Taliban. But this excruciating journey that he came on, if you do this, you too can be forgiven. And I'm like, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
But, obviously all of these stories are going to be complicated to varying degrees. But
It's still
overall,
effective.
it's a very effective movie. Both
Yeah.
of them are pretty much standouts, and I would recommend it if you have that one Dolby screening that's playing after Super Mario Bros. Give it a shot if the trailer stood out to you.